Hi, it's Steve Hargadon, and welcome to the opening keynote for the Global STEMx Education Conference. This is an event that's been and thanks to a great set of sponsors and supporters for the conference. They don't get much in return for sponsoring. You get a glimpse of this slide for them, and you get to see them on the website. But other than that, just know that they're doing their part to make a really great event take place, and thank them for being modest about it. This is a chance for those of you in the audience to indicate where you're participating from. Look to the left of the map. You're looking for a star icon. Looks like a sunburst or a star. You click on that, click again, and then click on the map. In the chat, you can maybe tell us the time, the temperature, your exact location. It's always fun to hear where people are from. I'm waiting for our first non-North American star. I know you're there. We can't move forward without you. we may have to. Yeah, where's Singapore? Well, keep putting yes, Thailand, but an iPad app. Okay, that does it. Keep putting those notes in the chat, but I'm going to move us forward here. Jim, I'm turning it over to you with huge thanks for helping pull this event off, and now starting the conference.
Fantastic. Steve, thanks for welcoming us, and it's been a pleasure to be a co-chair with you on this conference. I'm Jim Vanides. I'm the Global Education Program Manager here in the HP Sustainability and Social Innovation team, and I have the privilege of moderating this great panel of distinguished education experts whose leadership and expertise is making the HP Catalyst Academy possible. So Yolanda from ISTE.org, she's the Director of Professional Development Services, otherwise known as Jolie, and Larry Johnson, CEO of the new Media Consortium, and Mano Talaiver from Longwood University and the Longwood Institute. This will be a terrific panel. Really looking forward to hearing what you all have to say. But before we go on, I want to also thank our co-chairs for this event, Lucy Gray and Steve Hargadon. They're the ones that invented this thing called the Global Education Conference, and when I attended it, it was amazing to see how it brought people together from around the world, and it was a fascinating venue to see, 24 hours a day, things were happening. And I asked Steve, hey, can we do the same thing for STEM educators as well? So that's what got this launched, and I guess we can say that it is the world's first massively open online conference for STEM educators. I hope you enjoy it as much as we've enjoyed planning it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you get to tap into some of the other sessions as well. I also want to thank our sponsors and our partners, HP, ISTE, and all the other folks who are making this possible. It's just going to be a great time. So here's the plan for the panel. We are going to do this as a dialogue as best we can. The topic is this idea of a new approach to professional learning designed especially for STEM teachers. And we'll be using the HP Catalyst Academy as a case study. We'll start with some introductory remarks, followed by why it's important, why the need, and then we'll dive down into what's possible. What can we do when we want to? What can we do to make this thing we used to call professional development come alive for more teachers? So, if you have any questions along the way, I recommend you putting them in the chat. And then towards the end of the session, we can also enable mics and we can have some verbal dialogue as well. So with that, let me begin. I'll introduce myself here. As I said, I'm Jim Vanides. I'm part of this very interesting team, the Global Education team that's part of the Sustainability and Social Innovation Group in HP. I have lots of adjectives I have attached to my name. In some ways, I'm a social entrepreneur within HP. I am both a technologist and an educator. I teach for Montana State in my spare time. But in my role with HP, I have the privilege of working with educators around the world who are exploring how to use technology to create powerful learning experiences for students. You know, powerful learning experiences that help more students succeed. The function I'm part of, the Sustainability and Social Innovation team, is a corporate affairs function in HP, and our charge is to take all the assets of HP, its people, its technology, its funding, and address key social challenges in health, education, and in the environment. So that's our team. My focus is STEM education, so that's what brings me here. And I have the privilege of helping to create and lead this HP Catalyst Academy, which we'll hear more about. It's this online network of professional learning opportunities for teachers, for STEM teachers. So Jolie, let me pass it along to you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Yolanda Ramos, and I'm very, very honored to represent the International Society for Technology and Education and working very closely with HP and the Media Consortium in this wonderful initiative. Jim asked us to share both a little bit of our personal professional profile and also obviously the organizations that we represent. So I kind of summarize it in 2 words. I'm always have been passionate about global education and about the aspects of global citizenship into the whole teaching and learning process. And obviously educational technology is one of my other passions, and how that can definitely have an impact in educational setup is something that I just love doing. I have been privileged in my career to work directly with more than 27 countries, teachers in 27 countries, obviously focused on the topic of what we used to be called professional development, and now that we are in the digital age era, more on professional learning opportunities, particularly as they are available online. So in this experience, I had the opportunity to learn from these teachers and to have a closer look on an understanding of their needs. And one of the things that I learned from them is that teacher professional networks are important, both locally in their communities, in their own countries, but more important, they really are hungry of identifying other opportunities for professional growth internationally. And I think that opportunities for professional online learning are definitely things that they are looking for, and especially if these opportunities are provided free, which is the case of the HP Catalyst Academy. I think that they are very, very excited. So I feel humble and privileged that these teachers have influenced my life and that I can continue being an advocate of 21st century skills.
Great, thank you, Jolie. And did you want to share your
sure.
video?
Yeah, I would like now to introduce the profile. We have an excellent short video that introduced the profile of the International Society for Technology and Education, and especially with my networking international background, I think this will be really a good transition to what we do at ISTE and how do we work with educators. Thank you, Steve.
So I'm going to put the video in the web tour. If you do not see the video come up on your screen, then I'm also putting it in the chat, and you can click directly to watch it, or Jim has put it in the chat. The video has come up, at least for some, hopefully on the screen. Click play, and we'll come back in about 1 minute and 40 seconds.
ISTE's vision is a world where all learners thrive.
Okay, again, if you didn't see that video, I'm putting the link in the chat, but it played quite well for me.
Great, thank you, Steve, and thank you, Jolie, for giving us a little background there on ISTE. let's move on here. Oh, wait, let's make one mention here. Jolie, you want to do a shameless plug for the upcoming conference?
Thank you, Jim. I think, I mean, ISTE, as you see in the video, we have so many supporting focus for educators, but one of our primary professional learning opportunities are our annual ISTE conference, and next year is going to be in Atlanta in 2014. And it's really an opportunity for educators across the world to really develop on-site, 21st century skills, share with more than 18,000 educators across the world that are practitioners or subject matter experts on teaching and learning, subject matter areas, and obviously the importance of our integration of our educational technology standards to support transformation in the classroom. So make sure that you put this in your calendar, and we hope that you take advantage of this opportunity.
Super. Thank you, Jolie. Larry, tell us a little bit about yourself and the new Media Consortium.
Well, thank you, Jim. I hope everyone can hear me. I just want to underscore ISTE puts on a phenomenal event. If you haven't been to it, I do recommend it. We are really pleased to be part of the HP Catalyst initiative and have played, I think, a central role in the development of the Catalyst Academy, which we'll get into more in a little bit. But my own background has been in education for more than 30 years. I started off as a part-time faculty member in a community college, went back to school, became professor, dean, VP, ultimately president, and have worked also in the not-for-profit realm. I'm currently the CEO of the new Media Consortium, and we're probably best known for our work with the Horizon Project, which I want to tell you about. And the first thing I'll tell you is this tag is your doorway into the Horizon Project. You can follow the conversations going on out there. There's about 6,000 people that are active participants in that ongoing conversation. They're sharing news about interesting projects, reports and research that they run across, just all sorts of interesting conversations going on there. So I recommend that you follow that, contribute to it. If you have something that you would like for us to know about the NMC, we follow this continuously. So that's one of the best ways to reach us. The Horizon Project itself is now in its 12th year, and it's been an amazing ride. For the first 5 years, we only produced a single report a year, focused on higher education. And then we added a report on K-12 that year, as well as our first international report. The following year, we began doing considerably more international reports, Latin America, looking at Australia, New Zealand, UK. We added museums in the following year. Today we're doing 12 reports a year. We're doing a Horizon research cycle all the time. We've just launched our newest project, which is called the Horizon Project Europe, where we're collaborating with the European Union to do our Horizon research across all of the countries in the European Union. When that's finished, they plan to translate it into every one of those languages. So we're really very excited to be part of that work, which we think is going to be very illuminating. But we're also very interested in the developing world, and so we're looking at future projects in India and Africa. We already are monitoring things very carefully in those regions because we think there's a lot of interesting things going on. The report's been translated more than 40 times into now 11 languages. Of course, with the European work that will go on, but it's a very international project. We touch about 175 countries, more than 2 million readers with this project. I'd like to give a big shout out to Jim and SSI and HRE because they're major funders of this work. You couldn't do core research and core processes without their support. So tip the hat, Jim, and really everybody at SSI. that support is very much appreciated. We currently do two kinds of Horizon research reports. One is
Hey, Larry, I hate to interrupt you, but it's hard to hear you. Can you turn your audio off and then back on again? It looks like maybe something was happening there.
How's that? Turn it up a little bit too.
Gosh, no, it's very shaky. It almost sounds like almost like it's a connection issue. Jim, would you talk just so we can make sure that it's not something other than Larry's
Sure.
connection?
How does my volume sound? Does it sound okay on my end? How do I sound?
Yeah, you sound great.
You sound great.
You sound like something breathing to me.
Yeah, Larry, I would recommend, maybe you can try to log back out and back in real quick.
Yeah, first try pulling your headset out and back in, and then maybe Jim can come back to you.
Yeah. And Jim, we can move to with Mano and while Larry gets ready.
Yeah. Let us know when you're back, Larry. Mano, yes, let's move it to you. You're doing some very interesting work around the world and with girls in computational science. And anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself and your work.
Yes, thank you. I'm Mano. I am here at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia. For those of you who are from the United States, you may know about Brown versus Board of Education in Prince Edward County. That's where our university is located, in rural part of Virginia. So when I talk about technology integration in the olden days, like 20 years ago, I used to give this example of passing on a kaleidoscope. So if I take a kaleidoscope and I look at it and I see this beautiful image, and when I pass it on to a teacher, the teacher gets it and she would have her own rotation. So when she picks it up, the way she looks at it, the image changes because of the way she rotates. So the best practices through technology integration happens like a kaleidoscopic images. The more teachers use and rotates around, the better the practices, and the kids as well as get engaged more. And it's because of that, our institute from Longwood University, we focus on teacher professional development, not only just face-to-face, but online. So in all our classes, or in all our professional offerings, the teachers come for a face-to-face followed by online learning, classroom support. We visit classrooms and we continue with a webinar. At the end of the year, teachers are expected to come back and do a showcase of how the instructional practices has changed and provide the reflection. So here I am depicting myself as if I am handing over a Swiss Army knife because I couldn't come up with any other idea but to say, if you really look at the Swiss Army knife, there are different tools, and one tool does not fit all. So for integrating STEM, truly integrated STEM, where engineering design process is the core, the teachers need different type of tools. So recently we have been offering professional development on how to integrate Arduino to help the kids to develop a positive attitude toward computing and computer science. We've been doing robotics from the time first robotics started, but our robotics is not just with Lego robots, but we have recently started with hummingbird robot, 3D printing, Scratch. Every one of our teachers loves Scratch, which is actually it's from MIT. Those of you who don't know, you can go to scratch.mit.edu. And recently, our high school students have finished Unity, and they have created 3D games. So we work on teacher professional development as well as on special student projects. Including the HB Catalyst project, we work on an after-school program in one rural school division to see how an after-school program can make impact on the students, on their attitude towards STEM careers and fields. And so I will tell you more about our involvement with the HB Catalyst Academy when they come back to me again.
Great, thank you, Mano. And I have to say, you're one of those educators that makes me want to go back and be a kid again and go through school all over, only doing it the way you get to do it. So, thank you very much. Larry, how's your sound? Do you want to give it a try again?
Well, I've done every test on this end and rebooted, and hopefully it's working now.
Yeah, I think you're back. Yeah, okay. Well, you were telling us about the Horizon report, and
yeah, so I was just about to wrap that up. You can find out all you want to know about it either with the Twitter tag or at this URL that's at the bottom of this page. But we basically do two kinds of research in the Horizon project. The first produces a report called the Horizon Report, and we do 5 of those, 2 aimed at broadly formal education. We do a museum report that focuses on informal ed. And we do reports in the European Union and Latin America. The European Union one is K-12 for now, but will include higher ed eventually as well. But we also do country-specific and regional and sector-based reports. These are called technology outlooks. And we've done quite a few of those as well. And so, you know, the project has given us a really good foundation on a number of things, not the least of which is online learning, which we've been caring about for a long time. You can download the latest Horizon report at this URL, go.nmc.org/K12-2013. I'll also put that in here, go.nmc.org/ and that'll get you to the report. If you would prefer to just read it in an instant, here's the Wordle of it. As you can tell, students and learning are really at the center of everything we think about. And that's why we have become part of the HV Catalyst project, is because we're deeply interested in experimenting and pushing the boundaries on what's possible with online education. So thanks, Jim.
Fantastic. Well, let's, before we talk about what's possible then, let's take a moment to share our thoughts about why it's important to rethink this thing called professional development. Everywhere we go in the world, there's a demand for STEM educators and a demand for STEM graduates, and in general, it's a high-tech world. The bar has been raised for all students to achieve a higher level of STEM literacy, if you want to call it that. So I'd love to get the panelists, I'd love for you to give us your thoughts here about, you know, teacher professional development has always been important, but why is there even more urgency now from your point of view? Why is it important to maybe reimagine this thing that we've called teacher professional development? Mano, do you want to start us off? You've done a lot of work, for example, with rural schools, and just tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing, about where the need is coming from.
I know teachers have been in professional development, you know, like 10 hours per year and all that, but more and more we are asking the teachers to integrate problem-based learning, project-based learning, so that they can develop what we call 21st century skills, or even 21st century, facilitate 21st century learning environment. And that doesn't happen easily unless teachers are continuously learning, not only from experts, but also from each other. And when we really talk about engineering design process, or even content like mathematics and science, many times all teachers in rural schools do not have the content expertise, and therefore for them to really improve learning in an engaged digital learning environment, we have to provide professional learning, particularly with STEM integration. And I talk about integrated STEM because many times when you talk about STEM, teachers would say, yes, I am doing STEM, but they will be doing plain science, like they have done in the past, or they will do mathematics like they have in the past. So what we try to do in our institute is also try to encourage the career and technical education teachers and the technology resource teachers to sit with the mathematics and science teachers and to think about how they can really integrate the design process in everything that they do. And that is why we have to provide professional development. Just in the summer alone, excluding the HP project, we have worked with 134 teachers face-to-face on STEM integration. But they are right now working on their online courses in various ways, and also our STEM specialists are visiting their classrooms to provide support. Unless the teachers receive this professional learning support, we will not be able to make a difference in the classroom instruction. And that's why I believe professional learning is very critical.
And so thank you, Mano. I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. And there seems to be also a shift going on where the wonderful on-ground summer experiences that teachers can have, there just aren't enough of them. You know, there just is not enough global capacity for all the STEM professional development that needs to happen. Larry, you're on the bleeding edge with your Horizon report. You see lots of trends and whatnot. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the changing world and what you see as driving the need to rethink STEM professional learning?
Well, we actually see a need to rethink learning across the board in every dimension because there are tremendous new possibilities today that haven't existed. We've got a perfect storm of opportunity is what we're seeing. And the trends are really suggesting, that people are looking at notions like online learning completely differently than they ever have before. At the same time, education is being pushed from the boundaries by competitors who are coming into the space thinking they can do it better, faster, cheaper, more effectively. And in some cases, particularly in the K-12 space, we're seeing that in fact they can. And it's really causing people to sit back and begin to think about the traditional ways that we have done things, which works fine for some kids, but don't work at all for others, and that's really the challenge there. The third piece of this puzzle that we see is really in the world of work, and the kinds of skills that people need in the workplace are more and more the kinds of things that are developed through informal learning rather than formal learning. And I keep in mind a lot one of our colleagues, Jim from HP, that commented after I had made a talk somewhere. I'll never forget what he said. He said, at HP, we go to the best universities in the world to recruit. We look for the brightest, smartest people that we can find to be employees of our global company, and we do that everywhere in the world. But he said, do you know why we fire people? Because they don't have the ability to work in teams effectively, or they're not multiculturally sensitive and able to work, across cultural distinctions. And it's really made me think very deeply about not all of education, of course, is to prepare people for the world of work, but there's a piece of it that's very important for that. And in the STEM fields particularly, I think that is something very important, and we need to just get better at helping people be curious, and helping people want to discover, explore, and experiment. And I guess the last point I'll make is we're really seeing schools and teachers and universities begin to consider how failure itself is a very powerful learning mechanism. And so that notion of experimenting over and over until you find the right answer is very powerful, particularly in these disciplines.
Larry, I'm glad you brought up the point about the changing world of work. I talk a lot about the need for global fluency. Because if you look at the high-tech world, actually, and it's not just the people that work in high-tech, but if you think about policymakers and people in other kinds of professions, the world is just a very global place now. It's a flat global economy. and global fluency and the ability to collaborate across time zones and cultures and languages is a huge asset. In fact, I think it's the next resume differentiator. So that alone ought to insert a big wedge into how we think about what we need to, what are we training students to do, and then how do we help teachers help students do that. So Jolie, the International Society for Technology and Education has an entire body of work around professional development. What are the trends that you're seeing there, and what's driving those trends?
Sure. I think that from our organization perspective, we recognize that there is a dual need. On one hand, there is a global need to help educators integrate STEM content in the curriculum, but there's also, that comes together with the need to help them integrate technology to support that process, and how valuable tools and digital age resources can really promote that. So I think that teachers also have a need to learn how to develop technology-driven or technology-enriched learning environments that will enable their students to pursue their individual curiosities and become active participants in setting their own educational goals, helping them managing their own learning and assessing their own process. So I think that one of the reasons that ISTE is so excited to be in partnership with HP and New Media Consortium with the HP Catalyst Academy is that we believe that that's what the Academy is all about. On one hand, our goal is to offer STEM educators an easy entry into a professional learning pathway that has been designed with a setup that is non-threatening for teachers to start developing and engaging in professional learning in virtual environments. And it's also a setup and an opportunity for participants to start learning one lesson at a time. And when Larry talked later on a little bit on details on the mini courses and their topics and focus, you will see that opportunity for educators. I believe our role is to increase awareness of STEM educational trends and emerging technologies and their potential uses in education. And we are also, through these initiatives, we believe that we are addressing the role of the advisor of educators across the globe, the role of the Academy Fellow in this whole process, helping teachers, participants to integrate these STEM contents and integrate learning technologies in a way that can engage students in STEM learning and innovation. I think that's our primary end goal. So we're very excited about the possibilities of putting all these resources together to address those needs.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a changing world. It's changing demands, lots of demands on teachers. There's not enough capacity for doing all the training that needs to happen. But I'm very optimistic yet because I think there's some really interesting new things coming on board, that the new approaches to supporting teachers. The Catalyst Academy is one example. There's many others, but we wanted to dive a little bit deeper here now into what these possibilities can look like. How do we create these exciting and powerful STEM learning experiences for students, and how do we help teachers get there? So I think, Larry, why don't we start with you and tell us a little bit more about this thing called the HP Catalyst Academy. It's we're trying a whole lot of new things. In many ways, I refer to it as teacher PD R&D, but tell us how it works.
Okay, so I have put a URL into the web sharing tool, and so hopefully you're able to see that, but let me also place the URL into the chat so that you can follow along there. If not, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of the site, but I want to start off by just making a couple of points. First off, this work is very, very new. We had the first meeting where the germ of the idea was born in January this year, and it took us about 6 months to figure out really where we were pointing and what the important values and goals that we had were. But we launched our first courses around the time of ISTE this year, at the end of June. and we're very excited. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. I want to give you a little tour of the site, and as you look at it, there's some things that are unique about the Catalyst Academy. Number one is it's a big giant experiment, really. We want to learn as much about online learning as we possibly can, and so we have taken the approach that we're not going to ask we call them HP Fellows, HP Catalyst Academy Fellows actually. We're not going to ask them to fit their pedagogical ideas into our learning management shoebox. We don't even have a learning management system. In fact, we encourage the fellows who are receiving grants to develop these mini courses to be as creative as they can. So one course that I'll show you in a little bit was developed entirely in Facebook. We believe it was the first time ever that's one done. That's actually been our biggest hit so far. Another course that's also been very popular has been done completely in Google Plus and Google Sites, and people have used a wide variety of approaches, from WordPress to Blackboard to Moodle to completely custom crafted. One course is in a wiki, and that's very important to recognize. At the same time, we wanted to create a unifying experience, and so we came upon the idea of badges, and that's what you see here. And I'm going to click on this one and take you into one of the courses. Looks like this is working a little bit slowly, so let's all give it a little chance here. There we go. Come on.
Yeah, the badge thing was an interesting discussion, because we were exploring not only different ways of supporting teachers through new short mini courses and other models of professional learning, but we also wanted to explore, how do we collect together lots of small experiences and provide some sort of professional recognition for that. And the badges seem to be an interesting way to do that. It's just at the beginning, though, so more to come. They don't right now. You don't get credit for them, credit in the university sense, but you can get professional recognition by printing out a certificate and bringing that to your school.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to our fallback plan, which was to do this in slides. You can click around on your own sites, I hope, and explore further. We have a growing list of partners. Actually, we're going to add 20 more logos to this page in just a couple of weeks. But we have a process that is underway where we encourage people to submit proposals for courses. We're working with lots and lots of different institutions, not just educational institutions, but not-for-profits and NGOs, and it's really been an environment in which ideas can really flourish. It's pretty interesting. Right now, we have 14 live courses, but that's going to change very, very soon. We have 20 more courses in development. Those will go up initially with a coming soon, but so that people can know that they're coming, and our plan is to launch them in mid-November for registrations. But this first group has given us a chance to really work with real teachers in real learning situations and just sort of begin to tweak the model. Now we're really starting to think about scale, so we're going to add 20 more between now and the middle of November. As I said, next week you'll be able to see what those courses are. And in the next 6 months after that, it's an ambitious target, but we hope to reach 100 courses in the Academy. And so how have we done that is an interesting story in and of itself, because the folks that we're working with, they have great ideas about how to teach teachers new ideas, to share new skills and experiences, but they often don't have the resources, or sometimes even the wherewithal, to really put together a cutting-edge online course. So an important part of the model is that we have a team of instructional designers that work with all the fellows, as well as a team of project managers and technical support, all of that behind the scenes, along with social media and marketing support that that make it all work. It's really about 20 people that are involved in the team to support the folks that are doing these courses. And I think in the next 6 months, you're going to really see this thing begin to take off. That's our plan. As Jim mentioned, badging and microcredit is at the center of this. And one of the things that we've been trying to understand is how to make online learning valuable to teachers and to the people they work for. And we have a very traditional way that we can do this. All of our courses are designed to be 12 clock hours. So they equate pretty nicely to traditional professional development recognition. And if you just need a very traditional certificate to turn in to get those hours and those credits, you can download one just as easily. But we also wanted to play with the idea of really encouraging people to progress through the academy in a way that added engagement to the whole experience. And so I'm showing you the leaderboard for the academy. These are our, remember we've just started, so the leaders have by and large earned 4 badges. You can see I'm on the leaderboard too. And we're learning a lot about how the badging works, but the notion is that the badges show your progress as you go through the course and accomplish the various activities. There's an API that we're developing, and as we do these experiments and learn more and more, we're refining the badging as we go. So I encourage you to go to the Academy to look at it very, very closely. There's a lot of interesting stuff there already, and I wish the website feature would have been working a little more. I would have taken you into some of the courses, but I'll leave that to you to do yourself. Each one of them has a little promotional video. It's about 60 seconds that will explain in the voice of the person teaching it what's going on there. And so that's it for me, and I guess we go now to actually one of the HP fellows, right, Jim? So Mano,
right. Mano, you are one of the early HP Catalyst Academy fellows. You've got a wonderful mini course that you've developed, but tell us a little bit more about how you designed it. What kind of professional learning models are important to you in your mind, and what are you learning from this experience so far?
Thank you. When the instructional designers were working with me, they wanted me to do some interviews. So I found out the teachers really wanted self-paced, short courses that they can finish within 12 to 15 hours. And so we realized that our model has to be self-paced. And since we have gone around the world, they're doing professional development face-to-face, in Ghana, India, and South Africa because of the HP Catalyst project, not Academy, but the previous one. We were very excited that we don't have to travel to other parts of the world and provide online learning experience. Because when we went to Ghana and India and South Africa, the teachers were not only interested in the science inquiry professional development, but also Scratch, because they found that as a tool that they can integrate. So we are using Moodle as our platform to provide this 12 to 15 hours. Some have finished in 12 hours. Some have taken longer. And you can see from this map, we have teachers or educators participating from 17 different countries other than the United States. So we are excited about the possibility of interacting with these teachers. But what we have learned is where the teachers are successful are the areas where small groups of teachers can form a learning community. And I think I have a slide on that where the teachers, when they were working on the HP MiniCourse, and they got into, a hurdle, and instead of emailing the instructor, that they decided to meet each other. and they meet as a group. And I was able to grab this picture because I heard about this and went to that Virginia school, and I was able to get this picture. So when they form a smaller learning communities to support each other, that online learning experience becomes really productive. So that's one thing we have learned. The other thing is that how to design these online learning courses. Every time when the teacher gets stuck, or if they are not able to proceed forward, there is a need for them to interact with the instructor and for us to provide immediate interaction. Now, in the MiniCourse, the first week after one person sent me feedback, it's because I did not get it as an email. It took a week for me to learn that the teacher had difficulty. And then we were able to mentor and nurture the teacher. So in the future design, we are proposing probably we need to find interact with the instructor button probably at the end of every activity also in order to help the teachers to understand that they can go for help. So we have learned a lot, not only about how to support the teachers, about the importance of learning communities, but also about designing of the course.
Yeah, I really like this idea that just because it's online doesn't mean you can't be also face-to-face. And in fact, I think some of the best examples are hybrids. And learning is at its core social. So thanks, Mano. That's a great reminder of how it actually works and what's, the idea that, how do we help the learners, adult learners, as they go through the experience is really a key design consideration.
Yeah, I went and looked at the data on where is it that the teachers were able to complete the work. There were 4 tasks to it, 3 tasks with self-paced or automated quiz, which was not very easy because they had to really think through it. It's an inquiry-based quiz after learning the scripts for the scratch. And once they finished, only the locations where more than 2 or 3 teachers have signed up together have been successfully completed, at least 3 activities. If they have come on single, I think there were a couple of people. I think Sharon Bowers is one of them. And, I saw her name on the board. Actually, 3 of those people took the computational thinking in K-12 classrooms. So the support is very essential. And when you have a lot of registration, that is also because there was a recruiter. So now we are reaching out to all our global partners to recruit, and we are also proposing to design another course at the request of the science teachers who are using Excel spreadsheet to do basically data analysis and graphing, but they have not learned how to use it for modeling. And so we are proposing to develop a course on Excel next time around, whenever we have an opportunity.
And I have to say, Mano, I really like your computational thinking course that's aimed at teaching teachers how to help middle school girls get excited about it. Can we show them this picture? Can you say a little bit about what's going on here? I just love, to me, some of these images that came back from your course. I think this was the one in New Zealand, was it?
Yeah, this is in New Zealand, but this was a combination of, Scratch and this is particularly LilyPad Arduino, because in some of our projects, we were trying to encourage the teachers not to use Scratch by itself, but this is specifically about LilyPad Arduino, and this was a face-to-face professional development, but the advantage is it's because we went there, now we are able to spread the news about HP Catalyst Academy with those teachers. And these are teachers and girls coming together. One of my research is also about how to encourage girls in getting excited about STEM careers. And we have piloted LilyPad Arduino between girls and boys and only with girls in Dinwiddie County Middle School. And from the learning experience, we found out the girls who were not interested in Scratch because they think of that as game design, but when we showed them something about fashion design. Okay, how about, are you interested in fashion design? They get very excited about computing. So this is like in 1.5 days, we were able to get the girls excited about coding, and they created different projects. I didn't realize we can use YouTube videos, and this is a girl who went home after the session and created a mask and published her YouTube video. And the others are how they integrated the design process and computing during this learning experience.
See, what's fantastic.
Eventually, we have the LilyPad resources online for any teacher to go and learn by themselves from video tutorials. And I will actually type the URL at the bottom so they can go and, with the participants, if they wanted to go and learn, they can learn on their own.
Fantastic. What I like about these images, Mano, is a couple of things. One is computational thinking and learning to code and all that. It's not just about robots all the time. And there's other amazing things you can do, from app design to interactive clothing design. And so, you capture the imagination of all the students. That's the whole point, And the other thing I like is these images. To me, this is the new face of STEM. This is the future STEM, group here. They may have blue hair and be interested in other things. And I just love these images. So thank you, Mano, for including them.
Thank you.
We do have some time here, Jolie. We've got 8 more minutes, time for questions, and do you want to say a few things too about learning communities?
Sure. I actually wanted to address the possibilities for these efforts on the HP Catalyst Academy effort. I believe that they are promising because since day one, we determined that having a coaching model was key, and obviously the role of the Academy Fellow. And the good thing about this effort is that it has an internal and an external coaching model. On one hand, you have the HP and ISTE and New Media Consortium academic internal teams working very closely with Academy Fellows and helping content experts prepare for a new way of sharing their STEM knowledge and content with the new online HP Academy audiences. And you also have the Academy Fellow bring their own STEM perspective into the Academy within an open course model and promoting innovation and interdisciplinary approaches. So I think that readiness for content development and for developing these professional learning offerings is very strong. On the other hand, there is the external coaching model, which is that Academy Fellows are working very closely with teachers from all over the world through these courses. And we understand that teachers are really, really busy and that they need access to professional learning opportunities that are practical and on demand. And fellows are helping educators learn about new ways to collaborate because they come from higher education or nonprofit organizations, and their subject matter expert come from that level. So that's also very beneficial in a free professional learning opportunity. And they're also helping teachers integrate new content and innovative concepts back into the classroom. So the Academy is also, the way that we see this is that the Academy is also laying the ground for the development of a global STEM teacher network in the future. We're just completing the first year of this new initiative sponsored by HP, and I think that there is a potential for professional learning networks where teachers can learn from each other and can actually take the learning from the Academy into their own regions and into their own classrooms and professional learning, localized professional learning efforts. I think that our goal is also, and our role is also to be a key disseminator, making sure that we activate our memberships from an ISTE perspective and the networks that the members of ISTE have, just to take advantage of, just to promote and make sure that there is awareness of these free existing professional learning opportunities under the HP Catalyst Academy. So we believe that this is just the beginning of very good news for teachers, very good opportunities for teachers, and for teachers then to create this network between subject matter experts and their own local needs.
And, thank you, Jolie. And I really like this other diagram you had here, which prompted me to write in the chat that maybe we need to be saying about teacher PD, never learn alone. When you're connected, exactly. And as Mano said, when you come to even an online experience, if you come with somebody, you're going to learn a lot more than if you venture there yourself. So anyway, thank you, Jolie, and to the participants in the audience here, we do have a few more minutes. We can. There's some great comments flying by in the chat. If you'd like to chat a question or raise your hand, and I think Steve can enable your microphones if you'd like to speak out loud. Happy to answer any questions you might have or entertain any ideas you may have.
Free to put a question in the chat. You can also raise your virtual hand. There's an icon at the top of the participant window. It's the third one over after the smiley face and the person with an away clock. It's the hand icon. If you raise your hand by clicking on that, we can give you the microphone. And Marie, I'm giving you microphone privileges. Please feel free to, oh, I guess Marie disappeared there. But if you would like to raise your hand, I'll give you microphone privileges, or you can put a note in the chat and we'll ask the question here.
I think I have a question, though, from an audience, Steve.
Go ahead.
This is Mano. There's a question about how we can get the girls excited about engineering and STEM in the elementary grades. And, you know, I am very happy and thrilled to talk to you because we had a great discussion about this. We had a STEM Kairos Engineering Everywhere project for the K through 3 teachers. And when I went back to visit the classrooms, I saw girls getting excited about creating toys. So we don't have to always look for expensive tools like robotics, and you know, we can take even coconut shells in the developing world and using bamboos to create the toys and think about engineering design. And but it's because in the United States we can afford certain expenses. So lately, with the 3rd grade to 5th grade teachers, we've been encouraging them to use Makey. And if you don't know about Makey, I can provide information about that, which helps us teachers to even integrate Makey with Scratch. And we do from Legos. So there are lots of different little bits. It's a kind of a robotic tools. So based on the resources available, if we have money that we can integrate STEM resources even in the elementary classrooms, but if you don't have dollars, we shouldn't worry because there is nature all around us, and there are lots of things and tools that are around us that can be used to get the girls excited about design. Even before you use the word computing or engineering, just use the word design process, and then they get excited.
Fantastic. And maybe, Mano, that's a great place to cap off our keynote here, because it is all about getting kids excited, get them plugged into STEM in ways that maybe they'd never experienced it before, and helping our teachers do the same. So thank you to all of you, the panelists, Larry, Jolie, Mano, for joining us. Steve, thank you for helping us with the session. And thank you all of you who joined us for the opening keynote. I hope you can enjoy some more of the STEMx Con in the next 70 hours. and let us know what you think. We appreciate your feedback, too.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Jim. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Have a great conference.
Thank you all. We do have 5 sessions coming up at the top of the hour. Do go to STEMxcon.com, click on the attending and schedule to see the sessions. Hope you have a fun few days here. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.